Here's what we can say about Labor's capital gains tax plans. It would apply to profit made after the 1st of July 2027. It would apply to residential property, commercial property, excluding the family home. They specifically state that at this stage, farms, KiwiSaver, shares, profit you might make on selling a business, a capital gain, inheritance, personal items like cars, boats and art, all those things would be exempt as well for now. Economist Cameron Bagrie joins me live. Cameron, good morning.
Good morning.
Thoughts? They've obviously gone for a very narrow, you could have gone much further. I'm sure there was some in the caucus wanting to go much further and wider, but this is quite narrow at this stage.
Yeah, Thomas Coughlin wrote a really good article in the Herald about, I think, 6-7 weeks ago, which sort of hit the nail on the head in regard to what we're going to get. They did a bit of a tester with that article, and then lo and behold, it looks like the substance of what they brought out or what has been leaked, because I don't think they planned to put it out today. I think it was planned for later in the week. Is there, and it's notable for what's more that's out than what's in.
What makes you think it was leaked?
Because the plan was for it to be released later in the week, is my understanding.
Okay. That might explain some of the reason why Chippy's pulled out of his media slot this morning. How much revenue do you get from something like this?
I'd have to go back and read the article again, but I think the number off the top of my head that I think was in Thomas's article was around 250 million. So it's not a game changer. It's not one that you're going to knock the ball out of the park. And I guess if you do some back of the envelope numbers on three free GP visits, population of 5 million, times 3, there's 15 million. What's the average cost of a GP visit? And you get, I guess, some pretty reasonable numbers in regard to what the health-related expense is going to be on the other side.
Is it worth doing?
Do we need a capital gains tax in New Zealand? The answer is yes. The debate has always been about, to what extent, how far do you go? Labor's obviously gone with a watered-down version. Glass half full. There's something. Something's better than nothing. So we'll take it. Move on. New Zealand has needed to have a debate about a capital gains tax regime for a very long time. We've moved the dial in the direction that it needs to sort of go. But once again, Ryan, it's pretty watered down. It's not a game changer. It's not going to bring in a huge amount of money. But it's politically defensive, which I think is probably the overriding priority here.
Is there a problem with that? If you're bringing out policy, and you could argue the same thing happened last week when they were, ring fencing, who would get to decide where the future fund money went, who gets to decide where the health money goes, and it's not the politicians. If you come out with a politically defensive policy, does that mean it is good policy for the country?
Not ideal policy, but let's be honest, the economists don't run the country. We live in a democracy. You sit back, we've got the same old problem with New Zealand superannuation. We've known for 10 to 20, 30 years that the age of retirement needs to go up. We know the system is unaffordable at some stage down the track, so the next generation is going to get absolutely whacked with high taxes. Can we have a debate about shifting the retirement age up or bringing in means testing? The answer is no. Why can't we have that debate? Because of politics.
Cameron, what about the bright line test? Where does all that play into this? Because the goalposts have been shifted by various governments.
Well, the bright line test at the moment it's a pretty narrow one, down to sort of 2 years. So we'll have to look it up and just see, I guess, is that going to shift at some stage down the track as well? We don't know in regard to the details. All we know today is Labor's obviously been caught on the hoof. They've had to put out a rush statement because the horse had sort of bolted, so to speak. So we'll get the details, I expect, in the next 24, 48 hours in regard to what this looks a little bit more broader.